In today's video, I want to show you two forms with 4 knots in each form. And the first form we're going to do is a form where we draw a diagonal line that comes up, and then we draw our knot, and then a diagonal line that comes down. Then we draw our knot, and then a diagonal line that comes down, and then we draw our knot, and then we draw our diagonal line, and then our final knot to meet up with our line where we started it. As you can see, the knots should sit across from each other. Ideally, you also have the lines inside of the knots cross each other so they can sit sort of on a straight line. But you just want to try and eyeball that initially. The next form that I want to show you is a form where the knots are facing out the way. And in order to draw that, what we need to do is we need to start on the right and go towards the left. It feels kind of counterintuitive, but that's what we need to do in order to go the right way around drawing the form. So we start on the right and we draw towards the left. We draw our first knot. Then we draw a line, a curve that kind of comes out, and then it curves down, and then we do like a micro pause. Here we then draw our second knot, and here we then come out the form and come round with our line, curvy line, then do a micro pause, and you then draw your third knot. Then you cross over your line, come round, up and round, and then you have your fourth knot, and you want to cross that, come out and back into your first knot and meet your line where you started it. As you can see, this is quite different from this in the sense that it's the lines that connect the dots, the knots, not the dots. The knots are curvaceous instead of straight. And in order to really illustrate the difference, I'm going to just draw up with a crayon here. So here, the connecting lines, or the red lines, they're straight in the first form. But here, in this form, they're curving. So here, what was straight lines have become these curving forms, curving lines. And I hope you can see then, of course, it should be straightforward, but I'll draw it up with the blue just to make it really obvious. Here our knots are turning in towards or facing out. Our boat shapes or knots are facing out the way, and here they're facing in the way. So that's the shapes for this week. I would encourage you to practice these and then come back next week for the new shape that I have for you before we then have a little break for Form Drawing Friday. See you next week.